I'm waiting on purpose. Every time I do this and I think I've waited enough lag time, I play it back and there's this hesitance, this interruption. In any event, dear friend, how are you? How are you feeling? How is everything? It is now Saturday morning, 1:22 a.m. Eastern Time. Ready to go on the air at 2 a.m. for my WABC weekend overnight shift, which I love more than you can imagine. It's a chance to engage people all over the area, the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and thereabouts, plus all over the world in terms of this, dare I say, wonderful, marvelous world of digital app and all that stuff. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. And if you're not doing well, I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you. I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you if you're not. So much to discuss. So much. Have you heard the story of this horror show on Times Square? This 12-foot tall black... There's Carl. There's Carl. Bless yourself, your heart, or bless yourself. It is a horror show on Times Square. It is this, I guess you would call it a 12-foot tall statue paying homage to a black woman who apparently seems to be overweight. She looks like she's one of the types who are about to get involved in a fight because of a bad Chipotle order. What is it all about? It was this week, and one of the fun aspects of this is going back on stories that happened during the week and trying not to talk about something which already has been talked about, but something which I find to be absolutely incredible. The latest installment of New York's, I guess, saga. I'm looking at this right now. This is incredible, this saga of public art, which I've never been one of these people who talks about or discusses art. I'm reading this, it seems more making a statement than celebrating shared values. I don't know if anybody cares about shared values. It's a 12-foot tall bronze statue. It's called Grounded in the Stars. And it was crafted by British artist Thomas J. Price and now stands prominently in Times Square, depicting a plus-size fat woman. And by the way, which is fun, a black woman, in casual attire, hands on hips, exuding an air of defiance. In my mind, looking like she, again, of all of the aspects, of all of the depictions of black America, look, far be it from me, this would not be it. According to Price, the statue aims to challenge traditional ideas around what defines a triumphant figure. Again, if I didn't know this, I think it would be a racist. Somebody who is deliberately trying to mock horribly black America, black women, and what have you. It defines a triumphant figure, and who should be rendered immortal through monumentalization. In other words, it's less about honoring a specific individual and more about pushing a narrative that redefines societal standards that until recently celebrated figures of historical significance and shared national pride. But not this. This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. It's like the George Floyd as a hero. If somebody wanted to put up a statue of John Gotti as a hero, and I'm not trying to in any way compare the two. The statue's placement is no accident. It's situated near monuments of Father Francis Duffy. CD3 says, please tell us the brand emblem on your shirt. I believe it's a company by the name of Paul Stewart. It is called. Thank you. In other words, okay, it's near Father Duffy and George M. Cohan. By the way, Father Duffy was a decorated World War I chaplain, and George M. Cohan, a Broadway legend. The Times Square Arts Organization explicitly notes that the new statue cuts a stark contrast to these existing monuments. I don't know what to tell you. This is the level of stupidity. This is horrible. If I am, again, I'm not one of these people, well, if I were black, this is it? If I wanted to dismiss the black experience, if I wanted to mock, humiliate, portray something which I think would be racist, what if I put a picture of somebody unattractive who looks like some slovenly, I don't know what? Again, like somebody you see on YouTube in a McDonald's riot or something. This is, but I'm wondering. Maybe I'm thinking too much about this. Maybe I'm thinking too deeply. Maybe I'm thinking, no, there's no other, there's no subterfuge to this. Maybe that's it. I don't know. In any event, I am in the position, and this is incredible. It is, again, it is insane. Remember, for the Nilsson reminder today, the song Joy. Joy by Nilsson, I do not know. In any event, we'll talk about that. And there's just so much. But it's so great speaking to you. Al Sanchez is here. I go through every day of my life saying, I don't get this. I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get this. I don't understand this. I don't follow this. And then I think maybe I'm too, dare I say, cerebral for this. Maybe I'm going too much into this. I'm thinking, too much into this whole notion. I don't know what to tell you. There's something that is, Saturday night here in New York, driving in, seeing absolutely a city, bars open, people in the street, people enjoying themselves, everybody happy, conviviating. It reminded me of the days of how do I say this, of COVID. Remember that? And how we just were. I still can't believe. Next move on the 5D board, General Kim Bondi. You mean Pam Bondi? General? I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what that means, by the way. I told you this week, in fact, let me give you a list of what I'm going to be talking about today, which I think is very, very critical, in no particular issue. And what's interesting is during the week, I make notes of this, like I want to talk about this, and I don't want to talk about a subject on a Saturday, to me, this is Friday night, this is not Saturday morning. I never understood that. But I don't want to talk about something that is, for all practical purposes, the same stuff. But I want to talk about Pam Bondi, this James O'Keefe, who's a rat. James O'Keefe is a rat. I don't understand this. I'll talk about the Bertha Butt. Remember Bertha Butt? Remember this song? Met Gala Satanism, Leo and the Papacy, Diddy and Epstein, Dark Woke. Are you familiar with what dark woke is? If we get the chance of that, transgender as cosplay. The more shocking, profound, or brutal a story is, the easier it becomes to fabricate it. Outrage distracts from scrutiny. The bigger the emotional punch, the less people question. I'm also going to be talking about this week something which I want to talk to you very much about, stuttering. Are there any stutterers out there? Anybody listening to me right now who is a stutterer? Okay? Anybody? The reason why is I find myself, and I think a lot of us, spending too much time mocking people because of weight. Weight is the thing that puts us into this, like it's okay. Because we'll say, well, you know, it's unhealthy. Well, it's okay for me to mock. I say, do we really need to mock? It's one thing to say, look, I think we need to worry about obesity. I think health, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. But this is a mocking thing. So as I was talking about it, many believe, and I suggest this, that maybe there's a certain degree of a handicap. Because I truly believe that in some cases, there are people who have a greater propensity for weight gain. Maybe it's cultural, maybe whatever it is, whatever. But why do we have such hate? Why is it that of all the things, we always say, well, you know, like Pritzker, you know, the governor of Illinois, we always talk about his weight. When Rush Limbaugh, when Al Franken wrote, Rush Limbaugh was a big fat idiot. And I think to myself, why is that? Why is there, what is the disdain? I was watching pictures of Jackie Gleason and, you know, this whole thing was his size, his girth. Cannon, remember William Conrad? There was a time in this country where we used to travel 100 miles to go see a 300-pound fat person at a carnival. Why? Why does it fascinate you? And maybe one of the reasons why is growing up as a kid, I was always what's called fat. And my parents were very good. They go, oh, no, you're not fat. You're big. You're big. And I truly was. I was the biggest kid in my class. I showed my wife a picture of me in the 5th grade. I'm like in the last row. I'm standing up above everybody. Now I'm like Willie Shoemaker or Billy Barty. I don't know what that's about, but I don't really care. At my level of cognitive mastery, I don't really care about girth. I'm not doing that. Big boned, is it going big? Big. But see, I was just big though. You're big. But my real handicap, if you will, was stuttering. I was right around, I guess, puberty or whatever you want to call it. It was tough. And when you can't speak, so I'm going to see if I can get people on the phone tonight to call who are stutterers. Good luck. I mean, good luck with that one. Because the reason for it is the most interesting. Because it makes you feel in a weird way. Look at this. I've been following Lionel since he has 217 followers. That is so great. Thank you for that. So anyway, there's something about stuttering that just, I want to get right to the point. Right to the point. But I think it's so interesting. And what is your handicap? What is the thing that you have? What is that thing which you have? Explain to me your handicap. I'm going to try to explain the neurological and physical and actual causes and reasons and types of stuttering. What are the sources? What about the treatment? What about the incident? Is it men versus women? Does it affect a particular age group? Do you outlive it? Do you outgrow it? I'm looking for a comprehensive kind of a review of stuttering, which I find fascinating. Truly fascinating. And I always want to tell people also, if you run into a stutterer, what is it what are the things you do? Oh, by the by, I forgot to mention this. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should bring this up. There is there's something that we can explain here. Let me see if I can go back. Did you know that there are genetic factors to stuttering? so many things are genetic. So much of what we do is genetic. And stuttering and stammering, two different kinds of things. And some people have made it. By the way, Brando, thank you so much. I stutter when I type. Can you think of all the great stuttering songs? Baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. Catmandu, right? Benny and the Jets. What were some other great ones? There's some songs that have stuttering. Neurogenic stuttering. Famous songs that use stuttering as a part of the singing or vocals. Have you ever heard this one? My Generation. My Generation. Benny and the Jets. You ain't seen nothing yet. Bad. You know, I am bad. MJ stutters slightly in delivering his, you know, I'm bad. You know what, really bad. Changes, changes. Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann. I don't know if that's stuttering per se. Rehab. You know, 2006. Baby's gonna go to rehab. I say no. It's not a stutter technically. I don't know if anybody thinks about this. Drug-induced stuttering. I don't believe that's true. I think it was in some particular cases. But if you ever, much of what we do is also due to epigenetics. That is true, Al Sanchez. That is true. But epigenetics works. Oh, Mel Tillis. Famous stutterers in acting and music and theater and entertainment. Mel Tillis, Mel Tillis may have been something different. Mel Tillis does not, how do we see this? When you sing, when you're doing something rhythmic, you don't stutter. Also, when you wear headphones or something that cuts off your ability to hear yourself. James Earl Jones, Bruce Willis, Emily Blunt, Samuel L. Jackson, Marilyn Monroe, Bill Withers, Carly Simon, Kendrick Lamar, Rowan Atkinson, you know, Mr. Bean, Jack Welch from GEO, King George VI. It's something that you can kind of get around. Joe Biden claims to be a stutterer. I don't know about that one. I've always had, luckily for me, I'll tell you what my secret is. You know what it is? You know how I got around it? You know what I did? And nobody would ever admit this, but I'm going to tell you this and see if you can grasp it. Oh, Porky Pig, that's very good, yes. You know what? That's very good. I'm going to write that down. Thank you for that. I don't think anybody was trying to be mean, but yes. Porky Pig, get my bag out here. Porky Pig. Interesting. Porky Pig. You know, that's very good. I don't know why. That's all, folks. Porky Pig. I'm trying to think. There was somebody else. Yeah, Mel Tillis. Anyway, give you an example of what I did. If you were to tell somebody, okay, you're a stutterer, and I want you to talk like this. I want you to do your very, use a voice that's not your own. You'd be surprised how many people could say, you know, I can do that. Why? Because it's not my own. The worst for me when I was in my period of, because I would wake up sometimes and feel it. I could feel it in my head. I could feel the fact that I was, it was coming on like an aura. And not the letter aura, aura, but I could feel it similar to what some people who had epilepsy had. But I could tell, we got some problems with this. You know, Houston, we got a problem with this. We got a problem. So as I would feel it, I would start to change the way I speak. So years ago, I said, if I change the way I speak, if I use a different way, a different cadence, a different rhythm, if I'm aware, follow this, if I'm aware of what I'm doing, if I'm able to speak in a different pattern, if I speak louder, if I speak softer, if I speak more like this, if I use an accent, I took on what people would think sometimes was a New York accent. The people of the South thought I was Jewish. Just a second. Mrs. L is, bless her heart. Just a second. Anywho, so as I came up with different ways to pronounce my words, I got around it. I would say things like, it's the weirdest thing. Anyway, Mrs. L's checking, she's texting me, bless her heart, she's up, doing all kinds of stuff. In any event, so what I did was, yes, Mrs. L just texted in, she gets priority over you. I hope you don't mean, I take that in the wrong way. In any event, I wanted people to understand in the course of this stuff that we all have, handicaps. What is yours? What do you do? What is your handicap? I've got one in particular that I know. It doesn't really come up, but I know for a fact. How do I say this? There's I'm sorry, this is very rude, but she comes first. I'm going to tell a story. I hope you watch, by the way, 77 WABC. It's WABCradio.com. Make sure you tune in. There's an app. Make sure you listen to the app as well. The app, I'm going to go through the hell that I went through. But in any event, dear friends, in any event, I want you to recognize a couple of things here. First and foremost, that I appreciate immensely the fact that you're here. I love immensely the fact that you're a part of this thing that we do. I mean this sincerely. It's so critical, it's so wonderful that you're able to just be a part of this, because what I do is so different. It's not, and I want it to be different. It's not what other people are doing. It's not what they're trying to do. It's not their thing. It's what I do. And you've always been a part of this. And I mean that. And it's just, it's so, I think I have the best, not followers, I don't know what that, it sounds like you're some kind of an acolyte or something, but I think it's the most wonderful group, if you will. Because I look at others and it's funny, there's so many great people who talk, but there's no interaction between the host or the person, the creator, and the people watching. Do you ever notice that? I'm not going to mention any names, but participants. There's nobody. They don't do that. They don't pay any. They never recognize him. Like Al Sanchez. Unique approach. You have one, Al. Al, you do. You have a unique approach, and I mean that sincerely. But in any event, dear friends and glorious friends, I will drink some more of my coffee in a plastic cup. I'll be here till 5 a.m. loving this. So don't forget, where are you going to go? I think it's WABC Radio. Look at my my YouTube channel. Jewel says, I think this is a fun time, naturally speaking. I like that as well. I don't know what that particular iteration is. It's a fun time, naturally speaking. Or if you mean this is fun because this is natural, I don't know. See how important words are? You see why hearsay is not permitted in a courtroom? Because I can take what you're saying, I can read it any way I want. I can give different inflections, different emphasis, and the like, in any event. All right, dear friends, I thank you so much. Thank you. Remember back in the days when Lionel had that show on Air America when he was a blue no matter who? Oh, no, I wasn't. Oh, no, I wasn't. One of the things which they had a problem was, remember, at that time, it was Barack Obama. It was a different kind of a world where the other alternatives then was John McCain and Sarah Palin. Oh, my God. No, no. Remember, I'm not a conservative. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a member of any party. Because once you say you're a member of a party, you're done. How about that John Fetterman? Something's wrong with him. I'm looking up. I see him, his picture on it. Anyway, but I digress. I might think, oh, a squirrel. All right, my friends, I love you. Thank you so much. Please make sure you are subscribed to LionelNation. LionelNation. Thank you for watching. Have a great and a glorious day. Have a beautiful day. Be safe. Be careful when you drive. Don't drink and drive. You might hit a bump, spill your drink. Not good. In any event, my friends, I love you. Have a great day. Don't ever change. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Suya. Ta-ta.